Ethan Cole was a self-made millionaire who once had everything: a thriving tech empire, luxury cars, a mansion overlooking the city, and fame that made people whisper his name with admiration. But after a car accident left him paralyzed from the waist down, all that remained was silence, wheels beneath him, and pity in people's eyes. Friends drifted away, his fiancée left him within weeks, and even business meetings felt like charity rather than respect. Ethan locked himself away, convinced that love was no longer meant for a man like him. One night, as he scrolled through a dating app just to pass time, he received a message from someone named Clara. Her profile was simple: no glamour, no filters, just a woman with kind eyes holding a little girl. "You look like someone who once knew how to smile," she'd written. Ethan almost deleted it, thinking it was a prank, but something about her tone was genuine. After a few days of chatting, Clara asked to meet him for coffee. He laughed bitterly, assuming it was a joke, but curiosity won. On the day of the meeting, he rolled into the small cafe, his heart pounding harder than it had in years. People glanced, some smiled politely, others stared at his wheelchair, but he focused on the aroma of fresh coffee and the soft music in the background. Minutes passed. She didn't come. Of course, he muttered, why would she? But just then, a tiny voice piped up beside him. "Hi. Are you Mr. Ethan?" He turned, startled, to see a little girl, maybe 6, in a pink dress with curly hair and a shy smile. "I'm Luna," she said, placing her small hands on the table. "Mom's coming soon." Ethan blinked in surprise. "Your mom?" he asked softly. She nodded eagerly. "She told me to tell you not to leave. She said you might." Her words hit him like a wave. No one had spoken to him like that, with such certainty, such warmth. For the next few minutes, Luna talked endlessly, about her school, her favorite cartoons, how she wanted to be a doctor so she could help people walk again. Ethan found himself smiling for the first time in months. When Clara finally walked in, breathless and apologetic, Ethan felt something shift inside him. She wasn't like the women he'd known before. There was no pity in her eyes, only kindness and strength. "I'm so sorry I'm late," she said, sitting down. "Luna insisted on buying flowers for you." Ethan looked at the small bouquet the girl held out, yellow daisies, slightly crooked but full of life. "They're beautiful," he whispered. Over coffee, Clara told him about her life, a single mother who worked 2 jobs, yet never stopped believing in good people. She hadn't reached out to Ethan because of his money or fame. In fact, she hadn't known who he really was until after they'd started talking. "I just saw someone who looked lonely," she said quietly. "And I thought maybe we could both use a little company." Hours flew by, and for once, Ethan forgot his chair, his pain, and his past. He felt human again. Seen, understood, and alive. As they stood to leave, Luna looked up at him and asked, "Can we meet you again, Mr. Ethan?" The words caught him off guard, but his heart melted. "Only if you bring more daisies," he smiled. From that day on, they met often. Luna brought joy into his home like sunlight through an open window, and Clara's laughter began to heal wounds no medicine ever could. Slowly, Ethan started believing that maybe his accident hadn't taken everything, it had just led him to what he truly needed. Months later, at that same cafe, he waited again, not for a date he doubted, but for the family that had given him purpose. Luna ran in first, hugging him tightly. "Mom said you're joining us for dinner tonight," she cheered. Ethan smiled as Clara followed, her eyes gleaming with quiet affection. In that moment, the millionaire who thought he'd lost everything realized he'd found more than wealth. He'd found love, belonging, and a reason to keep moving forward. As they sat together laughing, a few strangers watched from nearby tables, smiling at the sight of happiness that needed no explanation. And Ethan, once afraid to be seen, now wanted the world to see, because sometimes, life doesn't give second chances, it gives better beginnings disguised as heartbreak. So if you ever feel broken or forgotten, remember Ethan's story, because love, hope, and miracles often arrive when you least expect them.